You may have heard that the government is now reviewing essentially any visa applicant or applicant for any immigration benefits, social media profiles, and in order to, screen them for benefits. And while that's true, I don't want to conflate two different things. And while I think that that is a broad overreach, I want to talk about this other tool that ICE has planned on purchasing, which tracks devices, all devices across the country, and buys bulk location data from commercial data brokers. And so while people on the right might say, well, this is okay, we want to track people's location data for enforcement purposes, which is how ICE claims to use it. What is really important to understand with this is that they are buying data from companies that collect information from applications, advertisers, mobile carriers, and they are tracking devices, not identities. They can see where phones are, but not whether the phone holder is a citizen, a visa holder, a permanent resident, which means they're tracking everyone's devices, U.S. citizens included. So when ICE accesses the platform, it's viewing just a massive data set covering millions of phones, probably most of which actually belong to U.S. citizens and lawful residents, just based on ratios, right, and percentages alone in this country. It can't be primarily undocumented immigrants, because if 7 out of 10 people are documented, then for every 100 phones it tracks, only 30 phone owners are undocumented. So since raw data can't actually be labeled, undocumented, what happens then is that ICE analysts are cross-referencing it with other databases to infer an identity, but not confirm, just infer. So they might cross-reference an address, right, from immigration filings. They might cross-reference license plate databases, social media profiles, or even like prior ICE case management systems. Of course, this linking process is not exact and can clearly misidentify people, especially people in mixed status households, where family members share homes. And again, the end result is U.S. citizens being surveilled, U.S. permanent residents being tracked and surveilled. So the majority of the data subjects are inevitably going to be U.S. citizens or lawful residents. The targeting happens after the data has been collected on everyone, because there's no built-in immigration filter. They have to then filter and cross-reference that themselves. So this is why privacy and civil liberties groups argue that this is essentially warrantless mass surveillance of the entirety of the country, and they're not wrong, right? So think about it like Google Maps data. Your phone is constantly pinging your location. A data broker sells that and those pings to the government, and then ICE can query the data set and for everyone, including you. So I would be surprised if there wasn't a lawsuit, but right now there's currently no law requiring that ICE filter the data by immigration status, before analyzing it, which really means ICE has data on all of us. Okay. The only real constraint is the Fourth Amendment and privacy statutes, but that's just advocates like me arguing that it should prohibit warrantless mass tracking. But until the suits actually ensue and there's proof that it is warrantless mass tracking, I don't think anything is going to be done. So let's keep an eye on this. This is really important news. I think that anybody, regardless of where you lie on the spectrum, can agree that we want our privacy. And people on both sides of the political spectrum should be speaking out about this and should be saying, hey, we don't want ICE to be privy to this information, because now the government, not just ICE, right, but like a government agency has access to private data that I didn't authorize them to have.